You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome, or as I like to say, welcome back. This is our fourth show today, and they just keep getting better, if that's even possible. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. It's all about dating. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer. And with me backstage, coming out now live, is Lori Mendelsohn, my co-host. Woo! Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Jacalyn, everyone else who's out there watching, listening, welcome.
Welcome. It's always good to see you. You're looking very well.
Yes, it is always my pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. I've got a lot of noise. There's a plane going right overhead now, so it's called summer.
Don't worry about it. That's what I say. This is real. Things happen. People mow their lawn, whatever. It's all good. But I know we have an exciting show today. Our guest is not yet backstage, but I always am interested to find out what you're doing.
Oops, wrong way.
It's the opposite way. No, the opposite way. Exactly. Yeah, it takes practice. It's sort of like just like a swivel. But I'd love to know what you're up to. I know you've got some new things coming out. So why don't you tell us what Lori Mendelsohn is doing?
I do, Dr. Jacalyn. And actually, I just want to say that our guest today, Kelvin, is someone who I met on Clubhouse. And we are in several rooms together. He has his own shows. He comes into mine. And we have formed a really great connection and a good bond. We help each other out and we really complement each other. So that's one of the things that's going on. But at the end of the month, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live event. All of the information will be on my Facebook page, which is Smart Funny Single. And it is dive into dating. Now that we can go outside and we can actually meet people again, I don't know if we remember how to do that.
I know, you're right.
So we may need a little bit of education on how to really do that again, because people are asking me, where do I go? How do I start? It's like people have lost their muscle memory on how to date. So I'm going to be going back into that arena and teaching people how to date again. So that's exciting. Yeah.
That's really exciting. And you bring up a good point. I interviewed somebody earlier today over in the UK, and she said that they are allowed to cautiously hug. I'm not really sure what that means. Do you hug? I don't know. Hug from a distance, far away, I'm not sure. But if you think about it, like I know me specifically, I've shared ad nauseum the fact that, I've been with my mom and haven't been really with other people. And it's sort of when you think about like getting like within 2 or 3 feet. I went to a restaurant, we sat outside, and the server was literally right next to me. And I was kind of like, whoa. But then I thought, it's actually nice that there are human beings around and that we can reconnect. So I think there's just that little period of time of getting over what was uncomfortable for so long.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we'll be back in the swing of things pretty soon. And then, of course, summertime is festival time. And 2 feet will now become 2 inches, where we're all packed together like sardines. And yeah, let's see what happens. If, I've heard that the vaccination rate is very low in the United States and how disappointed lawmakers are. And that concerns me a little bit. Does it you, Dr. Jacalyn?
It does a little bit. I think in the air, again, like I'm in my little bubble. It's in the bubble area. I think most people are vaccinated because they were already out at the restaurants without any masks. So I'm assuming, look at me making a big assumption like that. But, and I've met a number of people on this show and people I know personally who are not getting vaccinated. They're totally anti-vaccinations.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Yes. Now, by the way, Kelvin did say that he would be coming on shortly. He We both got the time wrong, as you know, Dr. Jacalyn. So he had a quick trip into Walgreens, and he should be here shortly.
Perfect. Well, just
thought.
yeah, that'll be interesting. And just to let our audience know, so when people book for the show, the calendar invitation is sent out in one time zone. It doesn't translate to other time zones, which is a real problem because we have people from all over the world who are coming on the show. So when that happens, we just roll with it.
We just kind of wing it. We talk about other things. We talk about gardening. We talk about planes flying overhead. We talk about the stuff.
Well, I think we can talk about that's kind of cool until Kevin gets here. We were just talking about Clubhouse, and today I started my first show with my co-host. Her name is Deborah Wooten, and she's huge on Clubhouse. She is over there finding talent. There's actually a musical theater audition going on right now. We don't need to leave right now, folks. You can go there after the show. But they've got some huge names over there that are actually letting people audition, and they're providing feedback. And then if you're in the audience, you can raise your hand to vote for the person to go forward. So not only dating information, but people are having life-changing opportunities over in Clubhouse.
Well, Dr. Jacalyn, I don't know if you heard, last weekend there was a live wedding. People who had met.
Oh, that's amazing.
People who had met on Clubhouse got married on Clubhouse.
I can't even imagine what that was like. So where were they really? Physically, where were they?
They were in the same room. They were in the same room. The woman who officiated was the one who was running the room where this couple met.
So cool. Brings little tears to my eyes.
It's, I'm wondering if Clubhouse is going to become a dating app soon, because a lot of people are meeting that way. But I don't know if you've noticed, everyone on Clubhouse is gorgeous.
Everybody looks pretty darn good. Yeah. It's actually also cool because when you think about dating and your branding and your profile, so you only get a tiny little circle, right? And you can upload your picture, this tiny circle, and that becomes your branding on Clubhouse. And it's important, regardless of where you are, that you select a photograph that really is, in your best interest, that you want to look great.
Well, I've been in rooms where we've been talking about emotional health, and there have been days that we just all need to be a little happier. So we've all changed our pictures to our animal pictures. So I was a black standard poodle for a day.
Where is Zinc, by the way? Is Zinc there?
Can you believe Zinc is in the other room sleeping? He's nowhere near you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Unbelievable. Just passed out.
I know. So let's go back to Clubhouse, Jacalyn.
Yes.
Have you seen a lot of trolls in the rooms lately?
I have. I was hanging out in the music rooms for a while, and there's definitely a lot of trolls that come in there. And but yet there are moderators that are there to keep them out. So how does that actually work, Lori? If you have a room where you're a moderator and a troll comes in, what do you do? You can report them. So you just hit a button on their profile that says report for abuse or scamming. And then if you can't get that going, you can move them to the audience. Here's what I've found. When people are waiting in queue to come up to the stage and speak, if they wait more than a minute, they evaporate. And I've been looking at a lot of these profiles lately. They only have like 1 or 2 followers. They don't have a complete profile. They don't have an Instagram link to it. So you can pretty much tell that they are people who are going to be trolls. What I also understand is if you have an Android, that you cannot link your Instagram to the Android account yet. So a lot of people are getting kind of knocked off because they don't have Instagram links yet, but that's because of the Android function. But they really are very, very skimpy profiles. Very. I mean, there was one a room that I was moderating, and we were talking about sex, and the guy came on, and I'm not going to repeat what happened, but it was ugly. And I've also had people who have taken over rooms with their own agenda. You know how Clubhouse has it where
you'll ask, you'll have a topic, and then you'll have a specific topic that people are talking about and asking about. And this woman completely turned it around to her agenda. And the room went so sideways, so fast, that I just started moving everyone down the audience. And I broke in and I said, okay, ladies, that's thank you for your share. Let's get back to the question. They kept going, and I didn't even give them the opportunity to finish their sentence. They moved right down to the audience. So,
that was it. You were not having any of it. Yeah. Get out. Goodbye.
Get the hell out of here. You get the hell out of here.
Hey, one thing I wanted to bring up to you about dating, I was talking to someone about this. It's kind of interesting. So have you ever been on a date with someone and no, okay. And you really you just knew it wasn't going to go anywhere, and it was awkward, and you kept thinking, how am I going to get out of this? But you keep sitting there. You go to the bathroom, see if there's a window. Somebody was talking about the fact that they really were going to climb out a window. Anyway, I've had this happen to me where guys, they'll be with me 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You know what? I'm sorry, but I'm leaving. I'm just not interested in you. And meanwhile, I've sat through entire dates with people when I thought, I can't stand this. And yet people have no problem telling me that, forget it, lady, I'm out.
Yeah. So what is the question, Dr. Jacalyn?
Has that happened to either way? Has that happened to you?
It hasn't ever happened to me that a guy has gotten up and walked out.
I get that.
It has happened where the guy got very handsy with me. And after 5 times my saying, please get your hands off of me, a drink landed on his face. That's happened to me. It's also happened where the guy looked nothing like his picture. The picture looked kind of like George Clooney. Now, this is years and years ago. This is like 14 years ago. And he looked like Buddy Hackett in real life. And he became very belligerent about it. He just, he completely turned it around that I'm the one who was bad and wrong and unattractive. And at that point, I gave him a $20 bill and I said, this should cover what I just ordered. Nice meeting you. Good luck. And I left. So I've walked out. And I actually do need to do it more quickly from now on, because I had a date recently. I'm sorry, I need to turn off my email. I had a date recently where the guy talked about himself for an hour and a half. And it was just, and I really should have said 20 minutes in, you're a nice man. I just am not feeling the connection. Thank you. Good luck to you. If you want to book me, I'm available. Here's my rate.
I think I can help you professionally, but not personally, not interested.
That's all hearsay. So what happens with me is people, if there isn't a connection, they automatically launch into my solving their problems because I'm a dating coach.
Right.
And at that point, I need to say, should we start the clock? Because I charge by the hour, and here we are. So.
Yeah, no, that's what you have to do, though, I think. Yeah. I had this date, it just popped into my head. I was living in Florida at the time, and I met this guy at this restaurant called Houston's. They're a chain. I don't know how far.
Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they actually have this beautiful outside setting, so it's on the intercoastal, so the waters, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I met this guy through Match.com. I was really attracted to him. He was attracted to me. We had a great date, and then we set up for a second date, and the second date was going to see this group, the 4, I can't think of it, but it turns out that my parents were going to the same concert. They had tickets for a while, and their friends had tickets. So this guy was all excited. He's like, oh my gosh, even though I just met you, it's great. I'll get to meet your parents, et cetera, et cetera. So I was going to have him pick me up, or I could have gone with my parents. So they leave, and he never shows up. So they go to the concert. They come back, they call like, oh, it was amazing. We had a great time, et cetera, et cetera. So the guy never called me. So I called for like a day, 3-4 times. And I left messages like, can you just let me know if you're okay? I mean, did you have an accident? So he finally calls me back and told me he had an emergency, that a house he owns in another state, the water heater broke, and that he had to leave and go. And so I just happened to say, how was the concert? And he said, oh, it was great. It was one of the best I've been to. And I was and he's like, oh, no, I actually didn't go to the concert. I didn't know what you're talking about. And I said, I just want to give you some advice. Why don't you just be honest? Like, what is the reason that you would invite me to a concert knowing my parents were going to the same thing? You couldn't purposefully want to be that rude. And he said, well, you know what it is I thought about it and you're just too old for me. And I said, what do you mean? Because he's older than I am. And he said, I really only want to date women in their 20s. And I said, you were very shallow. And that was the end of that.
Oh, you see, and Jacalyn, you know, the older that we get, the wiser we become. And, what is that phrase? Hindsight is better than foresight or whatever it is. Or
2020.
Yeah, whatever it is. That we all, when these things happen, when my clients tell me these stories, I just say they did you such a favor by showing their true colors right away, rather than you dating them for months, getting emotionally involved with them. But you know what? How long does it take to call and say, you know what? I have an emergency. I have to attend to it. I won't be able to make the concert. I'm sorry.
Well, plus it was a lie because he didn't have an emergency. He went to the concert with someone else.
Right. But he could have told you that but he completely dissed you. That's the
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got another one to make myself look bad. This was even more unbelievable. Somebody that I knew from growing up, I don't want to give too much information, but different ages happened to reconnect through an event and had major chemistry. We had a great time, went out a couple more times and invited me on this company sponsored trip, this incentive trip that the person won. Yeah. Went out, bought clothing, we had conversations back and forth all between, went totally dark. Then finally hear from them not going on the trip, but of course forgets that we're on social media together. So the person not only went on the trip, but took someone else. And so we have all the same friends from high school. They're like, I thought he was taking you on the trip.
Oh, Dr. Jacalyn. God, I am no wonder you don't want to date.
Hello.
Now I understand your complete backstory. I wouldn't either.
I could go on and on, believe me.
Oh my God. Hold on. Let me see. I just want to see.
We're going to take a break for a commercial, and we'll be right. Yeah, we'll be right back. I think our guests will be joining us, and we'll actually change the conversation around from how pathetic am I to some other conversations.
The girls were saying stories. Yes. I haven't heard any more from him, so I'm hoping that he comes soon. So,
all right.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. Located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey, is Margie Cedrone, artisan jeweler. Margie's been in business for more than 30 years. She works with her clients to create custom pieces of jewelry to reflect their personality and help them make their own bold statement. Starting in the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia in 1988, Margie works directly with her clients to develop one-of-a-kind pieces such as necklaces, engagement rings, wedding bands, unique watches and tennis bracelets, as well as a myriad of rings and earrings for everyone in your family. She also has worked directly with Dr. Jacalyn over the years, creating unique pieces of jewelry to reflect her personality. She does pearl stringing and repairs on site at 121 Haddon Avenue. Call or text Margie at 215-384-7155. Margie Cedrone Jewelry is open by appointment only. Make your own bold statement.
Networking sucks and people suck at it, but nothing gives me more life than walking around and talking to people in an audience and really being able to identify, okay, I see where you're having trouble, let's work on fixing it. How do you help them? How do you provide value? My goal is to give them those tools to be able to go out and tackle that fear. Anywhere there's coffee is where I'll be. So I bring candy a lot to my speaking engagements. Like, of course that makes sense. I'm a little unconventional.
Ashley was very knowledgeable.
Very entertaining.
I learned a few new things, and to me that's the key.
What do you want them to say? How do you want to be perceived? You're going to get the most direct, tactical tips and practical takeaways when it comes to networking. These two here are super important. You'll remember once the conversation started.
I love the tips that she gave out. I hate networking with a passion, so I feel like I can go through a meeting or event and not feel so uncomfortable.
When you're going to a presentation, you want to be educated. You also want to be entertained.
She was really fun and really personable, and everything she was saying was just very relatable.
She's got a lot of great ideas.
That will make you stand out so fast.
She comes across as someone that likes what they do and just doesn't try to sell you something.
Activity breeds results. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere.
Just made me want to start networking, which I never thought I'd say before.
A networking strategy that works for you.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hey, welcome back. You're watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. It's all about dating. And with me is my co-host, Lori Mendelsohn, and her partner, Zink, in the house. Zink has become an expert on dating as well. Doesn't have a lot to say usually, but is a good listener. Hi, Zink.
Zinky.
Zink.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn.
Hi. So for our audience, I want you to know that we do have a guest who's booked today, but I understand that Walgreens is having incredible sales over there, 2 for 1. I'm not sure if he's caught up in that little travel size aisle where you're picking up all kinds of travel size items. We missed you, Kelvin, but the show must go on. So, Lori, I thought it would be really helpful if you shared with our audience, and we talked about it, how to get yourself mentally, physically, financially, all the ways that you need to get ready to start out there looking for someone.
Oh my God, Dr. Jacalyn, that is a tall list.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to come up with content for.
I know. I really think that we need to have Zink come in here and help with that. Okay. So here's the thing. So those of us who are single, who have not dated during the whole pandemic, or who may have tried it once and run back to your home, your apartment, and said, I am never doing this again. There are ways to go about it. And I think that the most important thing to do is to realize that it is a date. It is not a life sentence. It is not something where you have to make a decision. If you like this person, are you going to spend the rest of your life with them? The key on a date, and every date, and date number 1 through date number 201, is that you have a good time and you enjoy the person who you're with. You do not have to look at it as a long-term commitment. In dating, what dating is all about is getting to know the person and seeing how you feel around them. See how your heart feels, how your head feels. Are you enjoying the conversation? Are they meeting you halfway? Are they asking you questions? Are they interested in learning about you? Vice versa. Are you interested in speaking to them? Are you interested in and curious about who they are and what it is that makes them tick, what they want to do with their life, what they want to do, outside of work? What are their aspirations? Do they want to sit on a Barcalounger all day and watch Netflix? That's probably not your guy or girl. So dating is really a process of discovery. So it should be fun, and you should laugh, and you should just, get into it with a feeling of curiosity and joy. So that's one of the tips that I can throw out right now. And Jacalyn, I can keep going if you would like more.
Yeah, I would like more. I just want to comment on that because that's something that I always had in the back of my mind, that I have to find the person I'm going to marry. I have to find the person I'm going to live with. I've got this dance coming up. I'm going to this ball. I got to find the person. And you just put too much pressure on yourself.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do. And you miss all the sweet moments that you are like engaging and, maybe hopefully having some witty banter and, great conversation and learning something new. For example, I just started speaking with a new man, and he comes from a background of law enforcement. I've never dated a cop. I have a client who is a cop, but I've never dated a cop. So for me, this is a whole learning experience where I can see, okay, what is it about law enforcement that interested you? What is the protocol? Right now with all of the racial inequality and shootings and distress going on in the world, what is the police force doing now to change that model? So for me, it's an opportunity for me to learn about this man and about law enforcement, nothing more. I don't need to plan if I'm going to move, in with him and when and what our, marriage is going to look like. I don't know the person. So all I want to do is just enjoy that person here and now and get to know them, and vice versa, and have them get to know me and what I'm about, and have that great discourse.
I love your perspective on that. And I also think that everybody we meet doesn't have to be the one, but they could be a friend. They could be someone that we network with for business. You just don't know where it's going to go. So if you keep an open mind and you don't have all that pressure that it has to be the one,
right,
you can have a great time and also learn something new, like what you're doing.
Right, exactly. And also, if you don't have the connection with that person, you can just practice your dating skills. You can practice your listening skills. You can, you just need to be open to discovering the moment and seeing how you feel, trying a new restaurant, going to a new park, going to a movie, whatever it is that you're going to be doing together now, to get back into it. I think it's really important before you start dating to find out who you are. And if you are coming out of a divorce, a really bad marriage, if you're widowed or a widower, it's important for you to do the self-work on yourself. Well, that's redundant, the self-work on yourself. To do the self-work on yourself. For you. To discover what mistakes that you've made in the past. What part did you have in the demise of the relationship? What you're going to do differently next time? And how to completely shift your mind to making it work and be positive versus, the mindset that many people have, which is, I'm never going to meet anyone. There's no one good out there. I hate this. It's a process of elimination. You need to go into it feeling really good about yourself. And for me, I can speak only for myself that after my divorce, it took me a good 2 years of deep, really hard self-work to get into the point of dating again. And even then, I went into it with trepidation. I went into it completely the wrong way, not the way that I do it now, but I was looking for the next man. I was looking for the next long-term relationship. And I was needy and I was clingy, and it was all of those things that I used to do, and I didn't want to be that woman anymore. So now I lead with just fun, happiness, joy. I'm going to spend an hour with this man, an hour and a half, maybe 2. Maybe we'll kiss, maybe we'll make out, whatever it is, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I have a question about that. When we get to the, maybe I'm going to kiss and maybe I'm not, are we requiring to see the little passport of vaccinations?
Oh my God, Jacalyn, I didn't even think about that. I think that we need to learn to trust people. I think that it's important to ask if it's important to you that they're vaccinated, to see if they're vaccinated. And I think it's important to ask them if it is important to you before you actually go out on the date if they're non-vaccinated. Because especially people with underlying medical conditions don't want to put themselves in a position where they're just very uncomfortable. And I think that you have to nip it in the bud right then and there before you do go out on the date. If it is imperative, if it's a deal breaker that they're vaccinated, that you can't go out with someone until they are.
Right, because that right there might show that you and the other person have different philosophies or the way you look at life, and that could be a problem.
Yes, agreed. And if someone is unwilling to share that information, that would be a red flag right then and there. You know, that they're unwilling to speak the truth and maybe him and haw about it, and that isn't something that you want to go down. You know, I have to say, in a lot of the clubhouse rooms lately that I've been in, a lot of people come as a victim. You know, I've been in this, I'm dating this man, I'm dating this woman. She doesn't, do this. He doesn't do that. All of these dozens. And this is a pattern that people have, that they continuously choose the wrong person just because they want to be in a relationship. And that's where the self-work comes in. You need to truly get ready with yourself and be alone by yourself before you can be with anyone else. Because other than that, you're going to just be codependent and clingy. And that's a recipe for disaster in a relationship.
And something I'd like to add on to that very good point is that it's actually great to be by yourself because you get to do whatever you want. You don't have to answer to anyone. But if you're alone too long, you may not ever, I don't want to say ever, but if you're alone too long, you might just get so set in your ways that then you make it more difficult for someone to be in a relationship with you because you're so just like this. I'm talking about myself, of course.
Yeah, Jacalyn, I the longer that I'm alone, I'm very comfortable being alone. I'm getting to the point where someone's going to have to be spectacular in order for me to open up the space, and the time, because I've gotten so accustomed to it. Now, is it something that I ultimately want? I absolutely would love, as you know, to be in a great, supportive, equal relationship with a man. That, we bounce ideas off each other, we feed each other, we support each other, we love each other, we communicate great together. We have a great intimate relationship. That's my ideal. But I'm not going to settle for someone just because I don't want to be alone. I'm fine being alone. I can watch whatever channel I want. I can get up whenever I want. The dishes can sit in my, kitchen for, I don't want to say a week, a day,
Thank you, not a week. I would have to come up there.
Hello, Mary Maids. But, there is going to be, when anyone enters a relationship, especially after this pandemic, because I can guarantee I'm not the only woman or man who, during the pandemic, us being alone, living alone, has left dishes in the sink, and it's like, oh boy, we got to.
Of course.
Yeah.
I had kind of, I don't want to say an epiphany because that's not the right word, but I went out to celebrate my book. I decided to walk just under 8 miles. And on the way back, I stopped at this outdoor restaurant. Yeah. I mean, part of it's indoor, but I said outdoor. And there's only one other couple there. It was me by myself and then a couple. And so it was impossible not to hear what they were saying, right? So they had a couple drinks because you could see the glasses. And she started on him about going on vacation and that he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. And that she's been pressing him about the money, where the money should be invested. And she doesn't like the returns on it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I am so glad I don't have any of this to deal with. And I actually wanted to move my table, move myself, not the I'm not going to take the whole table. I wanted to move myself because I didn't even want to hear it. Do you know what I mean?
I know. Yeah. And Jacalyn, we oftentimes think that the grass is much greener being in a relationship. And you and I both know that is not true. And you can be in a relationship with someone and be extremely lonely, far more lonely than you were when you were by yourself, because it doesn't work out. And it's, being alone can be difficult. Being in a relationship is work. So
yes, So we have to work on ourselves first.
We must work on ourselves first.
We have to work on ourselves all the time. It's not just a one-time thing.
No, it's not a one and done. You know, we always are faced with, you know, I'm a believer of people come into our lives as mirrors, and they are here. The people are here for us to learn from, also for us to teach them something. They're mirrored in us for us to go through an experience together. So we always need to look at that. You know, I think, Dr. Jacalyn, you and I are together to just have fun. You know,
yes.
We really have fun when we're together, and there's a levity when we are together. You know,
which is so needed, right? We need to feel good and laugh, and so and people still get dating advice. People still get coaching. You know, you don't have to pay for this,
right.
And
you're gonna laugh as well. But you know, people come into our lives for a lesson, to learn, to love, to whatever, to break a boundary down, to stop a limited belief, to just perhaps just enjoy. You know, that could be the reason. Just enjoy and mirror you. So I think that whoever comes into our life, a friend, a potential date, these are all things, all opportunities for us to learn and to grow, and to not necessarily say, well, now I have another thing that I know I don't want when I'm dating, but it's a reflection of us. How are we coming across? How are we coming across to another person? How is it affecting them? What did I learn from this person? I mean, like the last date that I had, I learned I don't want to spend an hour and a half with someone who talks about himself for an hour and a half. I'm going to nip it in the bud next time. If you go on for 20 minutes, bye. I'm leaving.
Right.
You know,
it's very selfish.
My time is far more important than that, more valuable. So there you have it.
Good for you, and that's a great lesson for other people. Go with your gut, go with your intuition.
Yeah.
Like, don't listen to me, like what I've done, just sit there listening to the blithering. But we actually are at the end of our show, which I can't believe.
That. And where the heck is Kelvin on it? In Walgreens.
I heard he went over to Target. I heard that he went to Target. They're having special sales. I don't know. We'll have him back on.
Okay.
So it's all good.
I hope so.
Well, I'm going to
thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to spotlight you. Please tell us where we can find you, how we can contact you.
Excellent. So you can find me on smartfunnysingle.com. On Clubhouse, I am Matchmaker Lori. My rooms are called The Single Connection and Single Over 50. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook under Smart Funny Single. So please, if you have dating questions or the need for dating coaching, or your dating app profile rewritten, I would love to help you with that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. And thank you for being a bright light. And thank you, Zinc. And Kelvin, wherever you are, we're thinking of you. We'll look forward to seeing you again.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you. Take care.
Good evening.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. We have another show in less than 15 minutes of Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. So I hope you'll join us for that. I'm going to do a quick change of wardrobe and be back. So take care of yourselves. We'll see you very soon.